Welcome to Truth Uncompromised. I am your host, Rhonda. Join us every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Truth is peace. Truth is justice and freedom to love, live, and be. Music provided by sourcevibrations.com. I am love. I am peace. I am free. I have abundance. I have everything within me. For I was, for I am, for I will always be. We are love. We are peace. We are free. We have abundance. We have everything within us. For we are, for we will always be. For Mother Earth is love. For Mother Earth has peace. For Mother Earth is free. For Mother Earth has abundance. For Mother Earth has everything within her. For she was, for she is, for she will always be. And so it is spoken. So it has been written, and it is done.
All right, family. Welcome to the Truth Uncompromised show. I am your host, Rhonda, and we have a great show planned for you tonight. Tonight's topic is Change is Here. What will you do? We will discuss tonight how what the spiritual community has been calling New Age, Ascension, how it is actually already here. We're going to talk about it from a physical perspective, from geographically, politically, and then on the spiritual side, the frequency. And I also want to bring to the family tonight a concept that I feel brings it all together in such a very, very beautiful picture. I talked about it a little last week, not a little, I talked about it a lot when I said wait to next week's show. This young brother did a series called Cosmic Egg Universe. And he not only discusses the co-layout of Momma Earth, the physical layout of the universe, how the planet/stars fit into it, how the frequency or ascension comes into play, and even the different dimensions. So I'm really looking forward to sharing that information with the family. Pretty much everything that we have talked about over the past 3 years on this show, with the different shows that we put on, he has lumped all of that together in this Cosmic Egg Universe series that he's put together. So I'm really interested and excited to bring that to the family. So with that said, let me bring in my co-host. Let me bring in Brother Sean. Peace and love, brother. How are you?
Peace and love, sis. I'm well. What about you?
I'm good. I'm hanging in there. You know, we keep getting this damn flip-flop weather. 1 minute, you know, you and your windbreaker, then the next you got to break back out your boots. So my body is going crazy. So if I feel a little sluggish tonight, family, that's what it is. My body keeps trying to adjust to this up and down. But besides that, I'm doing good. So
these nor'easters, now they call it a four-easter because it was 4 of them, and all of this is happening right before Easter.
Yes, and remind me to talk about, and probably when I bring on Sis Cheryl, and probably you want to talk about this too. You know they had Darth Vader himself, one of the Rockefellers motherfucking asses died, supposedly and allegedly, on the new year, right? The 20th.
Right.
Yeah, so which screams ritual, but I also think it means something else from a spiritual perspective. So we'll get into that as well. Let me bring on Sis Sandra. Here we go. Peace and love, sis. How are you?
Peace and love to you, too, family, and you, Rhonda. I'm fine. I didn't have to use my swimsuit like I thought, so I'm doing good.
Well, good.
So we had lots and lots of rain, and still more to come. So everybody said, "Woo! What? My ground ain't gonna handle no 2 to 4 inches of rain. Are you serious?" In this drought in California, so you know I'm still in my clothes. I didn't have to get on a swimsuit.
Wow, you don't have a basement, do you, sis? I'm most California.
No, we don't have basements.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't think you did. I was gonna say pull all your stuff up off the floor because, yeah, if y'all haven't been getting rain, there's no way that ground's gonna be able to handle all of that at one time.
No. 8 to 10 inches on the coastline and the mountains. I'm like, good God, what in the world? But see, that's what they get for chemtrailing. Okay, I'm not gonna get in that topic yet.
Okay, because save that for the changes here, because it all ties in. So we're gonna real quick. Let me go to my no shout with the go ahead on with the fuckery. You know, I got to start with the. I'm thoroughly straight up MF and disgusted. So, and although this ties in with the tonight's topic, changes, what will we do? I didn't have a chance to talk about it last week, or either I just decided to keep it for this week. But anyhow, let's talk about the white South Africans. Let's get on they monkey asses. In case y'all have not heard, the white South Africans, they getting their asses kicked out of South Africa. South Africa has passed laws stating that the land by the white farmers must be given back. So, and now just so you know, before I go into the rest of the story, just so you know, my personal experience with this, which really sends my motherfucking blood boiling. Back in the 90s, y'all, before Y2K, right around the Y2K time, so this was between the period of 95 all the way up to like 98-ish, okay? Those of us that were in the tech community had to, all of these projects to update these old-ass systems called mainframe, and they were using this programming language, these mainframes, that was so damn old that most of the people that wrote the programming language, which, by the way, That shit came all from the military. But anyhow, most of the people, the original people that wrote the language, they had retired. So companies had to contract with other people from other countries to come in and do the upgrade on those systems for Y2K, which all that was taking the system from a 2-digit year. So, for example, 2018, and the system would be 18, and then the 20 would be hard-coded. So it was taking it from the 2-digit to make it 4 digits. Okay, so South Africa was one of the countries that they brought folk over that knew that, I think it was called CICS, mainframe language. And Russia was another country. So I got a chance to meet a lot of South Africans and a lot of Russians. And by the way, the Russians knew they shit. They were bad with that computer. Oh, shit, they were really bad. They really, really knew their stuff. But anyhow, the South Africans, let's get on their motherfucking ass. Now, this was back around between the time 95 to 98. A coworker of mine had a get-together and invited a bunch of us over, and some of the South Africans, she was cool with them because the stuff she worked on, she got a chance to mingle with them. I didn't mingle with them that much on my stuff. So, anyhow, we sitting down, you know, sipping on our little drinky drink, this, that, and the third. So one of the South Africans had the motherfucking audacity to say, I'm being treated so unfair in my land. They're discriminating against us. They're trying to kick us off our land. Y'all, let me tell you one goddamn thing. I wasn't, quote, quote, woke, but I wasn't fucking sleep either. I set that drink down. I lit that ass up in front of all of them. It was like 10 South Africans, a room full of people, and everybody was speechless. I just could not get over that they had the motherfucking nerve to be sitting up whining about some shit that was not theirs and had the nerve to talking about somehow they discriminated on. Then thought they was going to get away with that bullshit in front of me. So I politely let their motherfucking ass up, picked my drink right back up, kept on sipping, ate the motherfucking hors d'oeuvres. So fast forward 20-something years to now. So I'm saying that story to let you know this shit ain't nothing new.
Right.
Them motherfuckers been knowing that they were, the people wanted them off their goddamn land. This ain't new.
No.
So, we had a story in the news where a bunch of them are getting together, putting together some petition or some old shit, asking Trump car, can they bring their monk asses over here? And he hasn't responded because that's not going to happen because he done backed himself in the corner, making himself clear about building a wall. But in the meantime, the last thing I heard that the Australian Prime Minister was making arrangements for them to come over, and that's going to be some more shit because they need to get their monk ass off of their land. So that's fine. Go ahead on with the fuckery. You're going to see, and it's going to start happening over here, mark my words, because although it may not seem like the melanated Aboriginal folk here, which are us, are not waking up, slowly but surely they are. And the same that happened over in South Africa, what's the other guy, Mugabe, who don't give a shit? Because he used Zimbabwe. Same thing that's happening over in Africa will happen over here as well. These European, They know this bullshit. The people in, quote, quote, these powerful positions, they know it. They know they have to give this land back up. So you're going to see a lot of them start to try to marry the natives of the land to stay on the land. You're going to see
especially
a lot of
women.
Yeah, especially the women, because remember, as we've talked about, the women are really the ones that hold the power with the wealth of the land. It's really transferred to the women as the caretakers, which makes sense because this is a woman body that we are in. So why would she not pass it on to her daughters? Okay, so you're going to see them try to do the marriage through the women. You're going to see them try to go to these new places to build them up, to try to find another home. So just pay attention. But I say go ahead on with the fuckery, because all things have to be restored back to the rightful owners. So don't nobody want to hear none of this motherfucking whining, none of this. You're out of there. So I'll pause.
I want to add to that. Now, I was just listening to some videos about how Africans see us as white folks over there in Africa.
Yes,
and
baby. Yes.
They see melanated people as white people. And so it's not just the Europeans that's trying to take the land. And I know I'm going to step on a whole lot of folks' toes, but the Moors are trying to colonize too, as this video I was watching says, because the Moors are really not American Indians.
Who are the Moors? What are
the Moors? They are African.
Yes, they are.
They are African. They have changed the maps around, where the North Pole, like we know it, is really the South Pole. Yep. And the South Pole is the North Pole. And the United States is not west, but it's east.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
And they have changed the compasses around so it shows differently. So all our people are getting suckered in to the concepts of this is Northwest Amexem.
But this right.
This is not Northwest Amexem. It is south, northeast, because we're actually southeast. Yes.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
They done changed it, and see, they're hooking up with the women too, because then the women are going to give them the property. So that means the kingdom of Morocco, which is in the west and not the east, they're going to get the land as well, because we're victims here. All these people are trying to victimize us and take our property. Mm-hmm. And they are part of the New World Order, and they say it. And unless you get part of them and listen to what they're saying and understand the corporation angle that they have, you would think they were one of us, because they have the same skin color as us.
Absolutely. And they run the same game as far as, us being free and this is our land, blah, 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 blah. I am trying to work with a sister to get her on the show. She put out some bad material on that. I mean, excellent. It had me in chills. She broke the shit down. She broke them goddamn classifications down to the T. She broke the etymology of the classifications down. She broke the origins of the classification down. You can clearly see that whole fraud stuff. So I'm trying to get her on next week. If not next week, maybe the following week. So we're going to get into that. Yes, Phonix Moon. She bad as fuck.
Yeah, she run with Dane Callaway in them. Remember I was still talking to you about Dane Callaway?
Oh, I didn't know that.
I sent you some of his videos.
Yeah, Dane Callaway. So Phonix Moon, Dane Callaway,
DarkmanX.
DarkmanX. I was listening to him yesterday.
Yes. They break it down. There's no getting around it. Now, recently, Young Pharaoh, and I don't agree with everything Young Pharaoh does. I think he does good work, but some of the stuff I don't agree with, and that's okay. That's that young blood's right. He doing his thing. He recently even had to put something out, breaking that Moors stuff down. So we're gonna do something on that. I'm trying to link up with Sis Phonix Moon, and I would love it if Darkman and Dane could jump on as well to really, really break this shit down to you, family. And that is why, although I didn't know the details, how they broke it down, I didn't have a receipt, like the young folks say, like they have, but the spirit hipped me on that motherfucking Moors game, because in my spirit, I just did not feel this fucking paperwork, all that bullshit. It just didn't smell right to me. So this paperwork, this classification, it is extremely, extremely important that you not follow people. That you not put
you cannot use it. Cannot use it in this government, because they're a corporation. And the government don't recognize them as a corporation, but another corporation within a corporation. They don't recognize them as a nationality.
No.
And that's the whole thing. They're not.
What you're actually doing, you're tricking yourself out of your inheritance.
Exactly. Especially when you change your birth and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you're tricking yourself out of your inheritance. Yes, brother. Go ahead on. You okay?
Remember what I sent you? Remember what I sent you about the macabre monkey?
Yeah.
Yes.
The Moorish monkey?
Yes.
And they all them different pictures of the monkeys with feathers.
Yes.
That's what they think about the Moors. That's another name for monkey. Macabre. Macabre, or how it's pronounced.
Absolutely.
But,
and I'm sorry, go ahead, brother. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Also, as far as the timing with this change, in 2020 on the census, they're going to have black and so-called white people. You're going to have to state exactly where you came from. It's people claiming to be African Americans. You're going to have to put down on there exactly where the hell you came from. And then once you stupid enough to put down black or African American, your ass going to be deported.
And I don't even know where they're going to deport them to unless they just struck a motherfucking deal with somebody.
Well, they're going to not take them in Africa. They don't like them over in Africa.
Right, unless they just struck a deal with some nation. But I'm sorry, go ahead on, brother.
If he do let the the quote-unquote white South Africans come over, they'll be legal. Because they'll have dual nationality. They have their nationality and everything from there, and they'll come here and they'll have dual citizenship. So they'll actually be quote unquote legal. But all these Moors and Hebrew Israelites that's running around hollering this, that, or the other, ain't no room for you.
Right. And that's even that classification white that some folks are telling folks to send in the SF-181 and classify your motherfucking self as white, go get your driver's license changed, woo-woo, this, that, and the third. As Brother Sean was saying, you are supposed to be stating exactly who you are if you gon' fool with them forms and stuff. You are Aboriginal. You are indigenous to this land. Aboriginal American to this land. End of story. So I encourage the family, check out those particular YouTube channels. That's Phonix Moon, Dane, Callaway, and Darkman. They really, really put out some powerful shit. They have receipts. Now, and all of them, especially Darkman and Phonix Moon, they get a lot more deeper into the Moor stuff, so you can see the origins of even how that whole concept took place. And it's very, very, very deep, people. And I do have to give credit.
I've been watching for 2 days. I've been watching it
for days. Yeah, you can spend days going through the videos like, oh my God, this is a trip.
This is all true. I used to think the men really liked me, but they just want to take my inheritance. Because they just start calling me and talking to me and stuff. I'm like, oh, wait a minute now. But I didn't want to be with them. But they do kind of seek you out.
And you know, the sad part about all of this, family, is that, and I'm not saying that every person that calls themselves a Moor is dirty like that.
Or knows
a lot of them, they just don't know.
Yeah, they don't know the secrets that they're being used.
Exactly. They don't know the secrets. The oath keepers, the ones that are behind the scenes, that they are giving these secrets to, the privileges of keeping this bullshit going. They know. And I'm gonna tell you it, and you'll get it in those videos that we spoke on off of the brother and sis channel, but it's all going to tie back to when all of the religions were formed and all of the quote groups were formed, rather that be the NOI, the Moors, Hebrew Israelites, all of that shit. It's all been the same thing. Okay, so this is why it's extremely important to know thyself. You don't need nobody giving you no motherfucking paperwork telling you to join them to free you. And the most powerful thing out of all of Sis Phonix Moon's videos, she say you're supposed to, be rocking with your ancestors. This is what did your grandma and them tell you you are, and it's true. She's absolutely right. Who's right? Your family members, your elders, or some motherfucking body pushing some paperwork.
But you know what? I have to say this. I come from an ancestry that says children are to be seen and not heard. So they didn't tell you nothing.
Right, and a lot of us, they didn't tell us nothing, but now's the time for you to start asking to.
Right.
Especially because a lot of them elders, they're leaving here. They're going to the next realm. So if you do have, elders, now's the time to be reaching out to them, to start tracing back that genealogy. Okay, but so that's, I know we kind of went over with that, but very good point, sis. It is going to be extremely important, family, that you know thyself and take the blinders off about who you consider is in your corner.
And
it ain't all going to be about the Caucasians. I keep saying they are a non-motherfucking factor.
Our people do the same thing to you.
They only held the gate to keep the system, quote, quote, going. They weren't the fucking source. So I'll pause in case somebody else want to put something on it, or you can go on with go ahead on with the fuckery.
That's all tied into it. It was going to overlap into this anyway. But a lot of the elders didn't say anything because not only did they fear for their lives, they feared for the lives of the youth.
That makes sense.
But now is the opportunity to turn all that around.
Yes.
We now know that we're not the minority. We never have been.
Right.
But we also have to keep in mind, everybody that look like us ain't us.
That's true.
Right. Right.
So, I mean, if people just constantly looking at the Caucasians and saying that's the enemy, but majority of the stuff that's happening to so-called black people is being done by black people.
Right.
So we also got to look at the karma aspect of it.
Yes.
There are thousands of different tribes here. We're all not from the same tribe. And people wondering how come their relationships and this, that, or the other ain't working out.
That's true.
You're with somebody from a different tribe. And we don't know which side who is on. Why
That's
y'all
right.
can't get along. Because
That's
we
right.
sold each other out. I mean, we was already fighting each other before they came over.
Mm-hmm.
And then some of us sided with them.
Yep.
So, I mean, there's some dirty mofos all the way around the board.
Right.
And what's going to separate everything is those who are able to vibrate at a higher frequency within the truth of knowing who self is.
That's right.
And it ain't meant for everybody to rise right now. Because
exactly.
people got some karma to deal with. You still got to pay for some stuff.
That is correct. Indeed, brother, indeed. Okay, so very, very great topic. We will definitely revisit this. I am trying to put that show together to get the experts on it that have truly done all of the research. And shout out to Sis Phonix Moon, Brother Dane, Callaway, and Brother Blackman.
DarkmanX.
DarkmanX. I encourage you to go out on YouTube, check their videos out, and I guarantee you, like Sis said, you're going to be hours going from one video to the next like, damn. But
he got a group on Facebook.
Oh, does he? I didn't know that. Okay.
I thought I sent you an invite to it.
I have to go back to my emails. Yeah, because I know I'm not connected to it.
Well, I'll make sure I send you another invite.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I highly encourage you, family, to start looking into their videos, and because it's about that time. It's about that time. So it is no coincidence that over in Africa, they're kicking people off of their shit. They're waiting on to see how many of us over here on this land, because remember, this is the land of milk and honey. Don't let no motherfucker fool you. This is the land of milk and honey.
Well, you know, they're making political moves now to take the Syrians or the, what they call them, the Africans from the Sudan, that's it, to Sudan, to Europe, and they squeezing the Europeans out of Europe too. So they're moving Muslims in place all over the planet.
Very interesting. Yeah, family, pay attention to what's going on with this land situation. That's why Trump card talking about he finna build a motherfucking wall. Talking about Mexicans. Yeah, and then somebody had posted an article where folks are requesting white men's quote quote sperm in Brazil. I'm like, oh really? And if you do a little research on Brazil, you will see that they had done that shit in the past. That's how that
blend this out.
Population got mixed up like it it is now, although contrary to what they show you, just like in Cuba, it's more melanated people there than white, contrary to what they show you. But I just saw an article where they're trying to get Caucasian males to donate sperm to have the women carry these children. So it's the same tricks and spells, because all of that shit that was done, family, was a spell. As melanated folks, Australia did the same thing. As melanated people, we allowed to happen and participated in, but they think that they can replay that to stop this frequency from rising. It's not going to fucking work, but that's what they think. So, okay, so I'll stop.
Chris, you in the group.
Go ahead. Oh, I am?
You're
okay,
in the group.
So I must accept
Aboriginal Indigenous Nation.
Aboriginal
Indigenous Nation.
Indigenous Nation. Okay, cool. So I'm in the group. Okay, I didn't realize that was his group. Okay, cool beans. Okay, so Brother Sean, did you have any go ahead on with the fuckery?
Now the question would be which one?
Yeah, you get to pick that. Because there's so much.
Okay. We're going to go with this whole gun rights thing again.
Okay.
This whole thing that they keep blowing out of proportion with this alleged shooting.
Right, alleged.
Now, since then, you done had, a teacher shoot herself, 2 teachers discharge guns, and now, recently, you had the peace officer in the latest shooting who actually killed the guy.
Is that 20 rounds of stuff? Yeah.
Don't this all just seem a little too convenient that all of a sudden all this stuff is happening, and now they're talking about some of the Caucasian schools implementing metal detectors. Here in Cleveland, we didn't have metal detectors for years.
Yeah.
Right,
all that scare and hoopla. Right. So all that scare and hoopla about something going to happen in these schools. I don't even see why quote unquote black folks getting caught up in that.
Right.
Yeah.
It has nothing
Ain't
to
no
do
black
with
kids
you.
being killed. Right.
Right.
Ain't none of them black kids being killed. Ain't nobody coming in our kids' schools doing that, and that's their children. Those are other students going in there doing that. It's not like you got the militia going in there. You do got the militia going in there doing it, and they blaming it on the kids. But
right.
Either way, it's all orchestrated.
Yes, very much so.
Oh, and then,
I totally agree.
And then the bomber.
Oh
yeah,
don't forget.
That's what I thought you was gonna pick. So yeah, go ahead on. That's.
I was gonna do that one, but that's all right. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Have it.
You go on and do that one. You go on and do that one.
Have it.
I mean, they talk about him doing the bombing. This is my problem. And then they said that he killed this Asiatic man or this black guy, or they killed this one over there. But yet it's not race related. In Austin, Texas, if I'm not mistaken, it's mostly white folks or Europeans. But he targeted the African or the black, whatever they want to call us.
Right.
I get kind of confused. They call us all kinds of titles. We don't know what we're going to be. Let's call ourselves Indians. But they targeted them, and then now they're going to say it's not. And I said, okay, wonderful. And the first thing they said that really ticked me off is that they said, it's not military. He was never in the military. I think they were listening to us.
No, they didn't say that bullshit. You got to be kidding.
They they did. They was listening to our program that day. I said it's all military related.
Well, you know, sis, on CNBC, I was walking past, and it was the TV was on CNBC, and I couldn't catch dude's name. The little motherfucking expert they had on there was saying that the conspiracy theories. Oh, that's what it was, because they was talking about censorship, and they were saying that the conspiracy theories, hours after the bombings happened, that the conspiracy theorists had all over Facebook, and they didn't say Facebook, all over YouTube, how it was fake, this, and that. So now they're changing up the narrative because folks have caught up with their fake-ass scripts. So that's why they threw in there, oh, he wasn't the military. Well, that still don't change the fact that we know y'all staging this shit.
That's true.
Well, they say YouTube is about to start removing all quote-unquote conspiracy videos.
They have been, from my understanding, a lot of people have been complaining about YouTube taking their stuff down.
That's right. They are.
No, but YouTube is going public. They went public with it now, so now it's about to be part of their policy.
And that's
to remove controversial video.
They'll just go out of business. These motherfuckers act like just because they got big and the public knows them and go to them, that's opportunity for somebody else to build their own shit up. They just putting a nail in their coffin, just like Facebook is doing. So let them go on and start fucking with folks like that. That's just opportunity for somebody else.
You see Zuckerberg, people bailing on him. They didn't throw him under the bus.
Yeah, and Facebook has lost a lot of money, and I think he sold a lot of stock or something like that. So,
50 million people
what you
hacked
say,
into. 50 million people got hacked into, but by some kind of survey or something, and all their data was all over the place.
You know what? All of them big tech companies, and I've said this for years, and now it's coming out. They're talking about these hackings, but they've been giving these folks, especially the alphabet boys, all of them have back-end access to all of those systems.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Google, Facebook, YouTube, they got access to all of them. Don't let them fool you. So ain't nobody able to hack into shit that they don't know about.
That's true. That's true.
So
one other thing,
they back themselves in the corner because let's be clear, the people made Facebook what it is. The people made YouTube what it is. The people made Google what it is. But in turn, they struck deals with the alphabet boys to monitor. But now the energy has changed. Ain't nobody finna kiss none of them platforms' motherfucking asses. Other folks will stand up and take their place and keep it moving.
That's true. Oh, another thing I want to say about Austin guy. I don't know how true it is because I got this picture sent to me, and it seems that they took a picture from a school book or something, and that was a young man that they showed a picture of, but the man that they really, I can't even say captured because I can't even say that's truth because it stinks. He was about 45. He was not, and he had blonde, looked like bleach blonde hair. He was an older man. He was not that 23-year-old boy they putting up there on.
Oh, you're talking about the recent bomber.
Yeah, the real bomber. Yeah, the Austin man. I call him the Austin man. He, the kid probably already dead. Then they got somebody else's picture out of a yearbook or something like that. Because the one that I got a picture of, and like I said, I haven't verified it, but that man looks like he's in his mid-40s or late 40s. with blonde hair, with a mustache and beard and stuff.
Yeah,
and they said,
I'm sorry, sis, go ahead.
They said that's the real man, not the young dude.
And, we've said this several times. All of that is psyopsis.
Yeah.
Anytime you see, you can spot psyopsis, excuse me, family. If it's getting heavy media coverage, meaning on every channel, immediately, right. And the keys to it is more than likely they catch the victim. What's the face? The person doing the particular crime.
Perpetrate
in a couple of days to a week, and then they always wind up fucking either killing themselves or they had to quote allegedly shoot them. It's a psyop. Now, not saying that those people did not perish and lose their lives. It could have been a case of like a Manchurian candidate where they're switching on these folks and having them commit this stuff. But it's a psyop. That's the bottom line on the public, and they're coming for people's guns.
Right.
And again, this has nothing to do with the melanated folks, because when this shit breaks fold, which is unfolding as we're seeing those that are awakening tunes, you're going to have a lot of Caucasian madder than a motherfucker.
Well, that Las Vegas dude, when they first put his picture out, the first thing I thought about, that's a corpse. He had makeup on like a dead person. His eyes were closed. And then they said, this is this guy that did all this stuff. I said, that dude looked like he'd been dead a while.
Yeah.
And then I thought that in my mind, and then I got a death certificate of the guy that's been dead for about 10 years. And I said, So, they just wanted the bump stock of the guns.
Yeah. It's a grab for the folks' guns because, again, when all of this stuff gets revealed to the mass public, it's not going to be a pretty picture, and they want to get the guns out of folks' hands. Because what we have to realize, the European nations, for the most part, their citizens, they don't have guns. They don't have them. We're about the only ones in those, what do they call them? Not, quote, quote, third world country. We're about the only nation left that still have arms, and we have the right to bear arms.
Human rights.
They will not, give up those rights. So, so just pay attention, family, to what's going on. All of that stuff that you hear in the media about guns, this, and that, that's to play with the psyche of the public to voluntarily, because remember, stuff has to be done by consent.
Right, for them to rule.
To give up their arms. And it ain't going to happen, but that's what they're trying to do. Go ahead on this.
Germany, because they don't have guns and all that kind of stuff, do you know their rape rate is phenomenal? There's over 1,000 in a year or less. Just thousands of them. And the people don't have any recourse.
Wow.
They gave up their...
Wow. Well, and I'm not on here to advocate guns or not advocate guns, because I don't subscribe to the whole corporate system anyway, because all that's fucking corporate as far as I'm concerned, and it doesn't concern me. I'm just telling you, family, peep game, and, try not to get your emotions wrapped up in the fuckery, because that's exactly what it is. there is an agenda behind it. So, okay. So, although we've been talking about changes here, what will we do? Tonight, I just want to we're going to get into the topic because we can see how change has shifted from an energy perspective, even from a physical perspective. Last week, RT News, hopefully they didn't snatch the little article down. Let me try to pull it up. They have put out an article saying Earth's magnetic field weakens, and they say in Africa. So this article came out, I guess it was March 7th, and I see where they then edited it.
I forgot.
Okay. So, actually, I read the little title wrong down. My bad. The title is Strange Phenomenon Under Africa Threaten to Flip Earth's Magnetic Field. Earth's magnetic field is decaying at such a rapid rate that scientists think the poles may flip. How many years have we been telling y'all that these motherfucking poles are shifting? We've been saying this for years that the poles are shifting. Okay.
Yeah.
New research shows the most significant weakening is happening under Africa in an area called South Atlantic Anomaly, as well as giving our North and South poles. And when we get into brothers' information on cosmic egg universe tonight, that little statement is going to make a lot more sense. As well as giving us North and South poles, the magnetic field blankets the Earth, protecting it from solar winds and cosmic radiation. Without it, there would likely be no life on our planet today. Bullshit. We're going to talk about that when we get to the brothers' cosmic egg universe. However, the force field has weakened significantly in the past 160 years, and scientists have suggested that it could be, now it's they saying it could be in the process of flipping. Effectively, this means a switch in magnetic polarity. Now, Brother Sean, sis and Brother Sean, you just motherfucking mentioned this. Means a switch in magnetic polarity and would see compasses point south instead of north. I can't fucking make shit up. This is what they're putting out. We've been telling you this shit for years. Strangely, this has actually happened several times in the history of the planet, occurring roughly every 200,000 to 300,000 years. Approximately 40 years ago, it attempted to switch before snapping back into place. Wait till I drop that cosmic egg universe on y'all asses. NASA never straight motherfucking answer is telling on themselves, but you got to know how to read behind their bullshit. This NASA illustration captures the enormous disruption to the fields during the reversal. So the depiction shows the typical north to south, and then the reversal, they're kind of showing south-north switch, and so you just got to see it. So anyhow, the birthplace of pole reversal. The South Atlantic Anomaly, which stretches from Zimbabwe all the way to Chile, is of particular interest to scientists because of its dramatic weakening over the last 160 years. The field is now so weak that it is hazardous for satellites to enter that region. That's going to be interesting, real interesting. It's thought that the South Atlantic anomaly might be a harbinger of an impeding pole reversal but very little hard data on reversals exists. Yeah, bullshit. But anyway, however, a new study from the University of Rochester published in Geophysics Research Letters has shed light on the alarming now it's motherfucking alarming, phenomenal. To put the recent changes into content, the researchers gathered data from sites in southern Africa and compiled a record of Earth's magnetic field strength over many centuries. The researchers gathered their data from ancient Africa clay remnants dating back to the early and late Iron Ages. Those ages, family, are very, very important. We've talked several times on this show about how our ancestors used the cosmos, used the stars to gauge and calculate time. Okay? So the sun and the moon calculate the daily time and the seasons. The stars, the cosmos, calculate seasons, but they also calculate these different ages. So when they talk about the Iron Age, the Bronze Age, the Golden Age, those ages represent the frequency level on this planet. And like I said last week, with our particular frequency that emits off of our vessel or body, it can be measured. So they can also measure these particular energies coming off of Momma Earth in these ages. So in other words, these mofos know when we're coming out of an age, when we're coming into a new age, how far we're into that new age, and they know the level of frequency that is associated with it. Earlier in the article, they told on themselves when they said that this whole reversal happens every 200,000 to 300,000 years, okay? So, of course, they're not going to give you the exact calculation, but that's equivalent or talking in code to the 26,000 year cycle of going into a new age. That is what they're telling you. Okay? So now, from my remembrance, when I was in school, they certainly wasn't fucking teaching that no poles would reverse. Okay?
No,
so,
I don't remember that.
No, I don't remember it at all. At all.
No.
Okay. So, I'm sorry, go ahead, sis.
But I want to say, DarkmanX had a video of a 1904 St. Louis fair, and the compass that they had on that map showed that the south was up, the north was down. And the east was over here, and the west was over in Europe. So who's controlling that stuff? Is that when they want to put it back to where it was already, and we've been living a lie all these years?
It probably, because what you just said, are they just saying that in order to say, to kind of mess up to that's always been the way that it's been? I think it's a little bit of that, but my only thing is I think that the actual, the suns, when we get into that cosmic egg video, y'all know what I'm talking about. But the suns, and notice I say suns as plural, they're going to be doing different directions.
Right.
So there is whole reversal going on, but the mofo's been lying out of their teeth all along about the directions. I'm sorry, go ahead on, sis.
They also said that the sun has gone down in the east at least 2 other times and is ready for it to go down in the east this 3rd time.
Yeah, and I've seen people on YouTube, actually it's folks on YouTube with videos out there documenting where the sun is going down in different spots, particularly, like you said, in reversal. So, yeah, there's definitely some the poles are shifting, but it has a lot to do, not a lot, it's directly linked to the frequency because of the age that we're in. Let me see what else.
Everything done switched to begin with. They the ones told us the sun rise in the east and set in the west.
And that's true. That's very true.
But if they put the compass back, it's always been setting in the east. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because this is the east.
Very, very interesting. So anyhow, I'm not going to read the rest of that. They're just sitting up here talking about how shocked they are, this, that, and the third. So again, this article, if you want to read it, they put it out on March 6th, and they turned around and edited it on the 7th. So I don't know what the hell they edited. But it's called, off of RT News, it's called Strange Phenomenon Under Africa Threatens to Flip Earth's Magnetic Field. Okay. So that is just one indication that they are now forced to motherfucking admit, because we've been saying this for years. And of course, I'm not the only one. There's plenty of videos and documentation. You can go look it up yourself. But you can feel that it's different. You can feel that change has happened. You can feel it in your body. You can feel it in your soul. You can feel it in your spirit. Okay. So the other thing that from a physical perspective that we are starting to hear a lot about are a lot of activity with solar storms and the northern lights. So this particular article, I saw this around this date, a couple of quick mentions in the paper, but I so happened to catch this article. This was on the 13th of March off of space.com, talking about a solar storm to amp up Earth's northern lights Wednesday and Thursday. And it was saying a minor solar storm will reach Earth Wednesday, March 14th, and could amplify the planet's aurora, making them visible from the northernmost part of the U.S., space weather officials said. States in the northern tier of the United States, such as Michigan and Maine, could see the northern lights from the amped-up aurora display, according to an alert from the Space Weather Prediction Center. Part of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration in Boulder, Colorado. The storm could also trigger fluctuation in some weak power grids, but will have only a minor impact on satellites in space, the center said. The scientists predicted that this week's geomagnetic storm will be a G1 class, a minor event, and run from Wednesday to Thursday, March 15th. And so here they come with a little bit of the bullshit, but I'll read it anyway. The solar storm originated from what scientists call a corneal hole, a region on the sun that allows high-speed particles to stream out. Those charged particles are expected to reach Earth Wednesday, March 14th, and add a little extra oomph to the planet's auroras. I'm going to stop right there and just put something on there. They full of shit. It's not coming from a hole in the sun. It is directly coming from Momma Earth center. That's where the auroras borealis come from. Now, to be technically sound, it's coming from the black sun. That's in the center. That's what creates that aurora borealis. Okay? So see how they doing half truths. They're telling you the sun, a hole in the sun, so you're thinking the sun above us, and it's the sun below us, the black sun, that powers Momma Earth. That's like her heart chakra, emitting the frequency, emitting that vibration, which translates into colors. Okay? So that's really what that's about. Now, that center that I'm talking about of Momma Earth is also called Mount Meru. Okay, and we talked about that before on the show as well. Okay. So it says these phenomena occur when Earth's magnetic field funnels charged particles from the sun. So they do say from the sun, but again, they're misleading you. Not the sun above, it's the black sun in the center. Okay, when this solar wind interacts with the particles in Earth's atmosphere, it causes a stunning glow. Auroras over the North Pole are called aurora borealis. Over the South Pole, these mofos are slick. Over the South Pole, they are known as aurora australis. During strong solar storms, the solar wind can trigger what scientists call a geomagnetic storm. Depending on its intensity, such a storm can trigger radio blackouts, interference with power grids on Earth, and affect satellites in orbit. As a side effect, they can also amplify the Earth's aurora, making them visible to the region at low altitudes than is typical. I'm sorry.
You know your articles you read? They said it's going to be near Michigan, right? You can be seeing it over Michigan.
That's what they said.
Michigan, according to our compasses that they show us now, is up in the north.
That's what they say.
So if it's out the South Pole that you just read,
exactly, you picked that up. You picked it up. Boom. You picked it up.
That's crazy. So they've been lying all along.
You picked it up. Absolutely. So they told on themselves. So again, that's,
they told on themselves.
They told on themselves. They said it came from the South Pole. Did they not say that?
Said that.
But it's going to be over the northern states, Michigan and Maine. Bruh, right. Which is it? So that's off of an article. The website is space.com that came out last week on March 13th. Solar storms to amp up Earth's northern lights Wednesday and Thursday. Okay, wow, so that happened last week. Yeah, so that's wild. Okay, family, so here's where we're going to go with this because I want to make sure we get enough time to get into our brother's video that he so eloquently broke everything down. So this particular video is off of Flat Earth Paradise YouTube channel. And I'm going to have to get the brother's name. Dang, I didn't write his name down. He lives in the UK. The name of the name of the video is called Flat Earth Cosmic Egg Universe Part 2. So it's a long video. I had to split it up in sections. So I just want to set some background for the family so you'll be able to get the whole gist of it. Okay. So as he's starting off in the video, this is the second part, but in the first part of the video, he visually built a model from his research and from what he feels how the Earth, Momma Earth, actually looks. And the way he built it with like this egg shell, just like an egg shell. But he left part of the egg shell open because inside the egg shell, he shows Momma Earth's body as flat. But he shows it, as we talked about before, as a disc. So meaning worlds within worlds within worlds. So in other words, a circle, draw one little circle, draw a bigger circle outside of that circle, draw a bigger circle outside of that circle, draw a bigger circle outside of that circle. Okay, so that is how he says Momma Earth is structured. And then the most inner circle in that model is what's close. That's where the Arctic is. And in that particular circle, that's where it's underground per se. That's where that black sun is housed. When you go upward, he shows where the stars themselves are on an axle. Okay? So like an invisible magnetic axle. And that's why the sky rotates around those particular stars. And I just talked about how the different ages, how our ancestors told time based on the cosmos, looking at the position of the stars to know what ages and what seasons we are in. Okay, so he also is going to talk about each one of those land areas. So he's going to talk about the smallest circle, which is next to the Arctic, which holds the black sun. He's going to talk about the next circle out, which is us, the current realm that we are in. He's going to talk about the next realm outside of us, which really is over those Arctic walls, over those ice walls, which goes, I can't remember how many feet in the air those walls go. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, look up YouTube videos about Admiral Byrd, who did the South Pole expedition, and he talked about more land beyond the poles. That's what he was talking about. It was called Operation High Jump, where they were trying to go up that Arctic wall, get over it, and they have been over it, and all they could see is just unlimited amounts of land. And Admiral Byrd even stated that he even saw some of the land where there was greenery to it, okay? So he's going to talk about that region. Then he's going to talk about the furthest region even out from that. Okay, so we're going to get into it. The first part that I chopped up, off of this video is about 10 minutes long, but I did want to give you some sense of background so you wouldn't be totally lost. But I do highly also encourage you all to go back and watch the video yourself, because his visuals are absolutely stunning and breathtaking. And he is the only one that I have seen present this particular model. So here we go with Cosmic Egg. So part one. I'm sorry, I got it about 17 minutes, but here we go. But I promise you, family, it's going to be well worth it. Here we go.
So let's just recap on what we've discussed so far, what we've established so far. We've established that our universe is inside a torus field, a giant torus field. What most ancient cultures referred to as the cosmic egg. Similar to this, right? This is the top half of the cosmic egg. And we live inside this torus field. We've also established that there is a cosmic vortex that runs through the center of this cosmic egg. This is the cosmic highway that links us with the multiverse on the outside. Okay? We've also established that on the inside, the Earth is pretty much flat, or it's a pyramid Bhumandala, as I like to call it, that runs across the equator inside our torus field, okay, with 4 concentric rings of land, right? At the center, where the cosmic axis or the cosmic highway runs through, where we are, the second ring, the third ring, and the fourth ring, and the torus field on the outside, okay? We've also established that each of these worlds has its own toroidal field, okay? So torus field within a torus field within a torus field within a torus field. 5 in total. 4 on the inside, the 5th one being the outside one, the cosmic egg, okay? Right, we've established that each of these toroidal fields also has its own sun and moon. Saturn and Jupiter revolving around the outer torus field, Mars and Venus on the next toroidal field, Apollo and Artemis, or our sun and moon, on our torus field, but in the center there is only one androgynous sun and moon, which is Mercury on the inside, okay, on this torus field, the aurora borealis, okay, right. So we basically said it looks something like that, okay, torus field within a torus field, right, with all the suns and all the moons, okay, right. The next question, or the next natural question, would be, well, what's above these toroidal fields, okay? Above that, above all the toroidal fields, we've got something known as the firmament, okay? This is where the stars are. This is what we see when you look up at the sky in the evening. All the stars and the constellations, this is the firmament. That sits above the last inner toroidal field, the one that Saturn and Jupiter revolves around, okay? So that will be the cosmic egg on top. In fact, I'll put it together so you can see it. Full scale on the model. Okay, please bear with me. Okay, so hopefully, okay, so that's what it looks like, right? This would be the firmament inside this torus egg, okay? The sky that runs across, okay? So it's almost like a dome, okay? So we're sealed off from these realms above, and I'll explain all that in a second, right? So when we're looking at it from underneath, when we're sat on the earth, we're seeing all the constellations revolving above us, okay? So pretty straightforward, really. So that's the firmament, okay? So this firmament, on its axis, right, is revolving, okay? There's motion, everything is moving above us, but the terra firma we're standing on is obviously not moving, okay? So this axis is revolving, it's turning the firmament with all the stars and the constellations and everything else. In turn, it's also affecting the motions of these toroidal fields that are spinning around us, like we discussed earlier on. Those toroidal fields are also carrying the suns and moons around, which is causing our days and nights and seasons and times, okay? And that in turn, that motion is also creating our weather, our winds, our currents, flows, air streams, everything else. So it's one big system working together. It's a network starting from the cosmic vortex. Okay? So I hope that is clear enough. Okay? So what that would look like is something like this. Okay? Now, interestingly enough, okay, we talked about the planets. I suppose many people will be asking, what about Uranus and Neptune and Pluto? Okay? So I think Uranus and Neptune are the two realms above. Okay? So Uranus is the firmament above us. Why am I saying this? Well, Mother Gaia, we all know, is Earth in Greek mythology. Okay? Gaia was married to Uranus, right? The planet Uranus, as they tell us, Uranus was named after Gaia's husband, Uranus. Uranus married to Uranus. These two are married, okay? They go hand in hand. Same thing with Kemetic Egyptian mythology, okay? You've got Mother Geb. She was married to the Egyptian god Nut, and Nut is always depicted as the sky, okay? So Uranus, Nut, Uranus, same thing, okay? They also tell us that Uranus and Neptune are kind of planets, but they're exoplanets. They don't go in the same category as these 7 wandering stars, okay? They put in a different category, and that's the reason why, okay? Pluto the planet Pluto was named after the Greek god of the underworld, and that's because Pluto is the firmament below us. As above, so below. There's a firmament above us, but there's also a firmament below us, okay? Below the great sea, the great deep, the Gabadoka Ocean, as the Vedics called it, okay? So that tells me syncretically that there is a firmament and what the firmament is, and that shows you how I've come to that conclusion, okay? Above that, you've got Neptune. Neptune was named after the keeper of the waters, okay? Which waters? The waters above and the waters below, okay? So Neptune is the keeper of the waters. This is the next realm. By the way, these realms above the firmament are very transcendental. We cannot go to these planets naturally. We all know that, okay? These are luminaries. These are suns and moons. We can't go to the suns or the moons, okay? Outer space does exist, like I said. It's beyond these Van Allen belts and these lands beyond. This would be outer space, okay? Definitely, we cannot go up here. This place is very, very transcendental. It's spiritual. You can only go there as a soul or a spirit or a star. All the same thing, okay? This is the only time you can go up there, and I'll explain all that in a minute, okay? So mainstream science tells us that there is Uranus, Neptune, and I'll explain how the heavens work. So there are 4 heavens and there are 4 hells. In fact, the Vedics say there are 7 heavenly realms and 7 hellish realms. Again, we'll go through that in a second. So mainstream science tells us that there's the Milky Way galaxy, Andromeda galaxy, and the Omega galaxy, and then the point of singularity. Okay? This is where Polaris is. Polaris is right at the top. Okay? Right in the center of the axis, the cosmic axis. Right? Everything is spinning around Polaris, just like we witness with our eyes. When you look up at the North Star, Polaris, you see all the stars are revolving, yeah, around Polaris. Okay? Polaris is Brahma, the creator. This is Big Brother. So when you see that triangle with the eye that these elites show us, this is what they're trying to tell us, that Big Brother is watching. Okay? Unfortunately, they're twisting it and usurping it and making it very occult. It shouldn't be an occult thing. This is something everyone should know. Okay? This is Big Brother. This is our Father. This is Brahma looking out for us, basically. Okay? So, right. Let's see what mainstream science says before we move on about the universe. So mainstream science tells us that we've got the 7 planets, right? We've got Uranus. In fact, they're saying the beginning was the Big Bang, the point of singularity, okay? This is where the Sirius star system is. So they tell us. But they make it very, they try and make it like it's a physical thing. But these places are very much transcendental. They're not physical places. These are spiritual, very higher divine. They, you know, we shouldn't try and debase it and make it sound very, very simplistic, because it's not. It's extreme. It's way beyond our comprehension. But I'm just going to try and relay it the way we're taught in schools. Okay. The Big Bang, point of singularity. This is where everything begins. The next galaxy is Omega Centauri. Okay. Below that is the Andromeda Galaxy. Below that is the Milky Way, or Uranus, the firmament. And then we've got all our wandering stars below that. That's what mainstream science says. Okay. And Pluto at the bottom. Pluto is always an exoplanet. They debate about whether Pluto is a planet or it's not. Do we count it, don't we? And this is why. Because Pluto is the firmament below us. Okay? Right. Let's have a look at what the Vedics say about our cosmology. So the Vedics go into a lot more detail. Right? The Vedics say there are 7 heavenly realms and there are 7 hellish realms. Okay? The top realm is called Brahma Loka or Satya Loka. Like we said, point of singularity, where everything began. The North Star, God. This is the Holy Trinity. This is where they all began. This is where everything started, like I keep saying. The next round down, they called the Tapaloka. Okay? Right? The next round down is the Yana Loka, and then the Mahaloka. Right? Or the Sphaloka. Spha as in stars. Okay? This is now the firmament that we're showing us, all the stars and the constellations, what we see when we look up. Okay? They call this axis mundi, or where this point meets, the Dhruva. Okay? This is where this is where we see the skies meeting with the cosmic axis, or the pole star, the Dhruva. Okay? This is the Merudanda that runs through the cosmic axis. Okay? And then they name all the different stars. They call Saturn Sanaisuru. They call Jupiter Brahaspati, Mars Mangal, Venus Sikuru, our Sun Surya, our Moon Chandra, and Mercury at the center, Buddha. Buddha, why Buddha? Buddha the messenger. Okay? Buddha was the messenger of God. I'm going to explain why that is important and why Buddha is the messenger at the center. That's very important. They then tell us that there is a Bhuloka, okay, Bhu world, the world of Earth, Bhu, and this is the Bhu Mandala, okay, the earthly plane, right, with the 4 concentric, they tell us they're concentric rings of land on the Bhu Mandala, okay, and they name all these different lands, which I won't go into right now, but we'll do that for another video, okay. So these are now the 7 heavenly realms, the Vartis, they call them, okay. By the way, they split this egg into 3 as well, right? The Swag Lokas, the heavens, the Bhu Lokas, the middle realm, and the Vatar Lokas, the hellish realms, okay. So now we've got 7 on top. What are the 7 below? The 7 below are the first part of inner earth. So remember we said there are 2 parts of inner earth. Gaia, Mother Earth, had 2 children, Prometheus and Epimetheus. Okay, so Atala Loka is the first part of inner earth. I think this is where all the tunnels are. I'll explain that in a second anyway. The next realm would be the Vitala Loka. Okay, that's the next hellish realm. Below that, you've got the Sutala Loka, which is the great deep in the Gabadoka Ocean, the great ocean, the turtle. We always see it depicted in many ancient depictions of the earth, the flat earth, sitting on a turtle. This is the turtle. This is what that means. The turtle is the great ocean below us that the earth is sitting on. It's not an actual turtle like people say. It's the great ocean. Below that, we've got the 4 hellish realms. The Talatala Loka, the Mahatala Loka, the Rasatala Loka, and the Patala Loka. And then you've got Shiva in hell, so to speak. Okay? So that's the 7 hellish realms. 7 heavenly realms, 7 hellish realms. So the Vedic scriptures go into a lot of detail. They even go into figures, how big this Bhumandala is They say it's 8 billion miles across, 8 billion kilometers across. Okay, they give so much detail for those who want to read into that and study that. Let's look at what the Norse said about the universe. Okay, so the Norse also divided it into three. They've got Valhalla or Asgard, which are the heavenly realms. Okay, they've got Midgard, Middle Garden. This is where we are. Okay, and then they've got Helheim, which is the hellish realms below us. Okay, so they've got Valhalla, where Odin is, abode of Odin. Okay, you've got Gimle, the three realms, Gimle, Valhalla, and Himmelborg. These are the three heavens that they talk about. These three up here. The fourth one being the abode of Odin. Okay, and then you've got the Alfheim realm. Okay, Alfheim, I think they called it the realm of the little elves. Little elves referring to the stars, because that's what they saw. When they saw the light in the sky, they called them the little elves. This is Alfheim. Okay, they're named, and of course you've got the Bifrost Bridge. Okay, as in the Cosmic Highway, Bifrost Bridge, self-explanatory. Right? They named all the planets. They named Saturn, Woden, Jupiter, Frigg. These were named after gods. Mars, Tyre, Venus, Freya, the Sun, Suna, our Moon, Money. Okay? And then they named Mercury, Hermod, was also a god of a messenger of some sort. Again, that is very important. That messenger is very important. Of course, these all had their roles. The most common ones are obviously the messenger and Saturn, time. Saturn's always associated with time, Father Time. I'll explain exactly why that is in a minute as well. Okay? The Norse also described these lands in great detail. Okay? They called this whole part Midgard, the Middle Garden, but they also called the crater continent. I'll show you.
Okay, family, sorry about that. Okay, so again, I dropped this particular video into the chat room. I also dropped it on the Truth Uncompromised Facebook page, but the name of it is Flat Earth Cosmic Egg Universe Part 2. That's off of the YouTube channel Flat Earth Paradise. So in this part 1 of this particular segment that I broke up, he was basically depicting his version of actually not only Mother Earth, but of the universe itself. And so what he is saying from his particular perspective, that Earth sits, the dome that we speak of is represented of that cosmic egg, or the dome that the flat earthers speak of. Sits in what he depicts as a cosmic egg, and within that cosmic egg, you have the actual body of Momma Earth, which is disc stacked up on top of one another. So that's a circle within a circle within a circle, and at the very smallest circle, that is the entrance to what is called Inner Earth. And below Inner Earth, you have other realms that I'll put it in the content of the Book of the Dead, those of you that have studied that particular information. So that is below what folks are calling Inner Earth, which is the Paradise Earth, which is also where the black sun is. Below that particular realm, you have the underworld. That's the word I was looking for. Brother Bobby Hemmett did a lot of work on that particular underworld. Okay, so that's the smallest circle. And then you have 3 other layers outside of that. The next layer is where we are. You have a layer outside of that, and then another layer. And then each one of those layers have their own suns and moons. So his particular thing is different. I had never heard before the concept of the different planets that they say make up our universe. So the Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, Pluto, Uranus are actually the suns and moons of these different particular layers. So that was a different concept for me. He also described how the actual stars themselves are on an axis pole. So an invisible magnetic axis pole that runs through the center of Mother Earth, and the point of that pole is that Polaris star. Okay, so that is what all of these secret societies speak of, the importance of the Polaris star. So on this axis is where the actual cosmos itself rotates. Okay, so above that particular, the cosmos, you get into the other 7 layers of heavenly realms. Okay, those particular heavenly realms that are above the cosmos is all ether. So meaning it is not physical in any way. In order to get to those realms, you would definitely have to be in your ether spiritual realm. So that's just to recap what he meant in that part 1 of the video. I'll pause in case somebody want to put something on it. If not, we're going to keep it moving into part 2, because he's going to go into deeper, starting to explain what's in those other particular layers or realms on Earth. I'm sorry, go ahead on, sis.
Oh, I wanted to say that I saw something similar to this. Not this one, maybe, but see, they got that information from the Tamil people, because he sounds like he went to the Buddhas and the Vedas and all that kind of stuff. And the Tamil people were the original people on the planet, which was us. And they got all of that information from them. And then I saw the video of it kind of like illustrated is where the other races come from. They come from them other layers outside of our layer, because we have the sun and they didn't. And then we have the gold and they didn't. We had all the resources of the planet. So they sought us out. And it's like that old thing, that old map. Remember the old time they said the earth was flat?
Right, and they show the regions.
And if you go to the ends of the earth, you fall off. That's what they basically said happened. They fell off, and they found this inner earth. Here is where we are, and that's where the invaders come from.
Yeah, and he's going to get into that. He's going, because what he's going to explain, I don't want to throw the thunder, but just to give it away just a little bit, he's going to explain who those people are in those other layers and how it came into play, how they acted with our particular realm, and then what is currently going on now. So, Brother Sean, did you have anything else? If not, I'm going to get into part 2. Part 2 is 15 minutes. I'm sorry, go ahead on.
So that basically should let people know that NASA ain't been nowhere. They ain't sent no probes nowhere. Ain't sent no satellites nowhere, because nothing physical can go beyond.
Exactly. They cannot get past not only the dome shit, they can't even get past the cosmos.
No.
Or that spinning axis that we talked about. Absolutely. So they're lying. But he is going to get into those other regions. So if neither one of you had anything else, I'm going to jump into the second part, which that's 14 minutes, and then we're going to come back and chop it up. So here we go.
They also call the crater continent at the center Midgard, the middle garden, right in the center. Okay, so where Eden, where Shambhala is, that's Midgard. Okay, as you can see, right? Below that, they called inner earth, inside the pyramid Bhumandala, the realm of the Fertilum. Okay, Fertilum meaning realm of stone spirits or dark spirits. I'm sure you can decipher what that means yourself. Okay, and then you've got Iga, which is the great deep, mother of the great deep, mother of the great oceans. And then you've got the realm of Loki, the bad guy, right? Loki at the bottom, Helen, right? So these Nordics, the Norse, they describe these lands in very great detail. Midgard at the center, the middle garden, naturally, okay? This is Vanaheim, the land of the Vanir. Vanir referring to children of God, okay? The gods in Asgard at the top were called the Aether gods, the gods of the gods. The gods, where we are, the Vanir, were children of the Aether gods. So they considered the beings that live here to be children of the Aether gods, of the gods of the gods. Vanaheim. It's interesting because where I come from, in Africa, in Zimbabwe, the Shona word for children is Vana. So I was trying to decipher what Vanaheim was. I couldn't figure it out. Okay, so I used etymology, again, something that I've learned from Santos and syncretism. And I connected the dots. Well, Vanir, Vana, children. Vanir were children of the gods. Vanaheim, land of the children of God. Vanaheim. And that's how I came to that conclusion. They then tell us there's a place called the Nephilim, okay? The realm of frost and ice, okay? This is the Nephilim, the ice wall. This is what they call the Nephilim, okay? And beyond that is where the Jutoinum lives. Beyond the Nephilim is the land of the Jutoinum, the frost and ice giants, so they call them. So we see in a lot of mythology, they talk about the Nephilim, fallen angels, right? In the Bible, it talks about the Nephilim, fallen angels, right? Well, you can connect the dots yourself, you know, how that's all linking with the Bible. Norse mythology and the Bible, connecting right there. Beyond that, they say there is the Muspelem, okay? Muspelem, the land of the fire giants, or the fire demons, whatever that means, okay? So you've got Midgard, Vanaheim, the Nephilim, ice wall, Jutoinum, beyond the Nephilim, and Muspelem, okay? Underneath that is where you've got Fertilum, like I said earlier on, the realm of the stone giants, okay? Or the dark giants. Oh, not stone giants, the stone dwarfs, or dark spirits, inner earth, okay? This is where maybe you get a lot of conspiracy theorists or alternative researchers who talk about the reptilians. Perhaps this is where they come from, these reptilians that we're always talking about, from inner earth, inside the Bhumandala, or possibly from the great deep, who knows, right? Doesn't really matter at this point. Okay? I could do the same thing with Norse, or with the Greek. I syncretize the Greek as well. The Greek, you know, Uranus, like I said, Uranus. Uranus was married to Gaia, right? You've got Zeus at the top. You've got Hera, who was Zeus's wife, so that's the next round. You've got Poseidon. You've got Polos, which is the North Star, and Zeus. They named the planets. They named this the Ether, by the way. They actually named it the Ether, right? They named the planets. Saturn was Kronos. Jupiter was named after Zeus, so Jupiter is Zeus as well. Mars is Ares. Venus is Aphrodite. Our sun was Apollo. Our moon was Artemis. And then you've got Hermes, the messenger, again, at the center. Kronos for the time, Hermes the messenger. Okay, Kronos is first, time. Hermes is the last one, the messenger. All of these also have their own different roles and their own different things, okay? Then you've got Mother Gaia with the two children, Prometheus and Epimetheus, okay? And then at the top, you've got Atlantis. This top bit is Atlantis, the concentric rings of Atlantis. The center, as you notice, is a crater continent now, okay? This is the sunken continent of Atlantis. This is where that myth comes of the sunken continent. Remember earlier on I said, I think there was a capstone, okay? I think this land was not always a crater, but something happened for it to become a crater. It was actually above, so it was a proper pyramid. Interestingly enough, if you look at the pyramids in Egypt, the Great Pyramid in Egypt, it's missing the capstone at the top. I think that's symbolical. The ancients were trying to tell us something, okay? So if you go to Egypt and you look at the biggest pyramid, I forgot what it's called, the capstone is missing. On our pyramid, on the earth, the capstone is also missing. Okay? Interesting. It's now a crater. So they were telling us something there, right? Back to this, okay? And then you've got Pontus, below Mother Gaia. You've got Pontus, who was the keeper of the seas. And then you've got Hades, right? In Tartarus. They call Tartarus hell, and Hades resides in Tartarus. Okay? So that's Greek mythology, right? And then the chaos on the outside. You can do the same thing with the Egyptians, okay? Right? The Egyptians, you've got Amun at the top, right? Amen, Amun, God at the top, the creator, right? You've got Neith, his wife. You've got Hathor. You've got Nut, who's married to Gaia, okay? The husband of Mother Geb, not Gaia, Mother Geb. So Geb and Nut are husband and wife. The firmament above us and the earth below us, okay? They also named all the stars, all the wandering stars, okay? Saturn, now this is quite controversial. This is just my own, this is not confirmed. This was just me coming up, trying to decipher it myself. It could be wrong. If someone can correct me, that'd be great. But I think Osiris is Saturn. That's Osiris, okay? Isis is Jupiter, okay? Deshir, for sure I know, is Mars. Sekhmet, again for sure I know, is Venus. Ra, for sure I know, is our sun, Ra. I think everyone knows that. And Khonsu is the moon, okay? And then you've got Thoth, for sure I know, again, messenger, okay? And then you've got Horus, the god Horus, keeper of the winds. Which winds? These winds. Toroidal field, the toroidal field around the earth. These are the winds. So when they say this is the keeper of the winds, these are the winds that it's keeping. Okay? By the way, you read in the Bible and in other scriptures, they talk about the four corners of the earth. These are the four corners of the earth. Okay? The four realms of the four corners. The four winds. They talk about the four winds in the Bible. Which are the four winds? The four Taurus fields. These are the four winds talked about in the Bible. Okay? And then below that, the Egyptians, the Kemetic Egyptians, they called the great deep Mother Sobek. Sobek, the keeper of the waters. Okay? And then you've got Atum, the tomb, right? At the bottom. Okay? And that is Kemetic Greek universe inside the cosmic egg. Okay? Right. So, let's move on to the next bit. Okay, we've established okay, let's talk about the ages, okay? In particularly in the Indian cultures, they talk about the four ages, okay? These are ages of consciousness. So everything is cyclical in life. You know, there are peaks and troughs. There are times when consciousness is up, and there are times when consciousness is down. For all the beings that live on the Bhumandala, there are different beings, different races, different nationalities, all along this Bhumandala, okay? So this is what we might call aliens, beyond our ice wall. We might call these aliens, but they are beings just like we are beings here. And they will call us aliens as well. So aliens do exist, and outer space does exist. But it's not like we've been told, or you know, that it's on the planet. It's on the lands beyond, okay? So, this is really important. Really, really important. I need to explain this. The ages. Okay? Indians talk about the 4 ages, okay? The Kali Yuga, the Dwapara Yuga, the Treta Yuga, and the Satya Yuga, right? The iron, the bronze, the silver, and the golden age. These are ages of consciousness, okay? These ages are determined by many things. They're determined by the constellations above us, right? In Greek mythology, these would be the gods. Everything above in these realms, these are the gods and goddesses that look after us, the big brothers and big sisters, okay? The sun and the moons that revolve around us, these were called the Olympians. These are the demigods that look after us subconsciously, okay? They determine the ages. And we, on the earth, on the Bhumandala, we are all the titans, okay? The soldiers that are living out the whole script of the whole thing. So all of this is a stage, okay? We are on the main stage. We are we're on the stage of creation, on the Bhumandala, okay? And these are the directors, if you want to think of it in movie terms. These are the ones directing the script and the programs, right? There is free will, I'm saying that, but don't think that we don't have free will. We do have free will, but on a grand scheme, there is a script within that narrative. Otherwise, it'd just be crazy, to be chaotic. There has to be a cycle, there has to be order to all of this. None of this is just random and chaotic. There's an order, there's a cycle, there's a system to all of it. Okay? So, interesting enough, I noticed something very interesting, right? These toroidal fields, the Van Allen belts that are around all the earth, okay, these are constantly growing, expanding, and contracting. Okay? This is what creates our ages. In the Vedic scriptures, they talk about a 26,000-year cycle of consciousness. Every 26,000 years, we shift within that 26,000 years from the iron to the golden age. So every 6,400 and whatever years, we go from one age into another. Okay? And even within that, there are ages, which are what we call the zodiacal ages. The age of Aquarius, the age of Aries, the age of, all the zodiac constellations. And those are all conscious ages. So there are smaller ages within bigger ages within bigger ages. Okay, so everything is cyclical. Okay, so there's a 26,000-year cycle, and then within that, there's a 6,400-year cycle. Within that, there's a 2,100-year cycle. Okay, we've just come out of the age of Pisces, which was the whole Jesus thing, fish, Pisces. We're now going into the age of Aquarius, the water bearer. Okay, Aquarius is technology. Aquarius is coming together. Aquarius is the mixing water. Aquarius is always a man or a woman pouring water, pitcher of water, mixing the waters. This is now where things are now being mixed. Knowledge is coming out. Technology. This is the age of Aquarius. Okay? This is where we are now. Right? So these toroidal fields, the Van Allen belts, the Aurora Borealis and all that, they have a significance in that. So we're at a very, very special point at the moment, right? Because we're shifting, we're approaching a 6,400 year cycle shift, which also coincides with the 2,100 year cycle. So not only are we shifting consciously, like we did in the last shift during the age of Jesus or Pisces, we're now shifting physically. Like I said, these toroidal fields are expanding and contracting. During the golden age, there are no toroidal fields inside our universe. Okay, let me find a proper one, just so we can see it properly.
Okay. Sorry about that, family. I was trying to go back to one of the articles that brought up, that talked about one of the articles that I read tonight that talked about that iron age, and they didn't use the word age, but they talked about iron, and that just proves my point that I was trying to make earlier, that they know exactly what is going on from a cosmic energy perspective and how that is translating physically and how they can measure it. You just heard the brothers say that we just left out of the Iron Age going into and we're into the Golden Age. And that particular article, one of the articles that I read tonight, mentioned that. And real quick, before we get into the final part of his video, just to reiterate some points, so you won't be lost, because when you go back and look at the video on YouTube, he has the visuals, and it'll make it a lot easier for you to understand. So when he talked about there is outer space, what he was referencing is not space looking up. You have to look at space looking out. So in other words, over that Arctic wall, that is considered out of space, and that particular region. Past that region is another region that is considered out of space. Another interesting point that he brought up is how in the model that he shows in his video of the body of Momma Earth with the circle within the circle within the circle within the circle, where we are now, our particular realm, or if you want to say continent, is sunken. So, could that be, as he was kind of making note of, the sinking of Atlantis? Literally, we just sank. This entire realm sank below, okay? And when he talked about the shifting in his particular model, each one of the realms has a particular magnetic field over it. So, like our realm, excuse me, we have a magnetic field over us. Then the next realm out over that ice wall, they have a magnetic field over them. Then the realm outside of that has a magnetic field over them. And it breathes in, it breathes out. It breathes in, it breathes out. And as it's breathing in and out, that equates to the energy level or frequency that we are in, that also represents not vortexes, what do you call it when you jump to another dimension? What's the thing that you walk? Portals. Okay, so as Momma Earth is breathing in and out via these vortexes, are when these particular portals open up also. Okay, so I just wanted to give you a better visual picture of what he was talking about. Before I go to the next video, sis, you have something you want to put in on it?
I just want you to give the name of the video again.
Absolutely. It is Flat Earth Cosmic Egg Universe Part 2. And that's off the YouTube channel Flat Earth Paradise. And now he has a part 1, and part 1 he goes extensively into the physical description of the cosmic egg model.
Yeah, there's a lot of Flat Earth Paradises on here, and they all, I didn't see this one, but the Cosmic Egg Universe, I'll look that up. Yeah, okay. I want to look at that to see his description.
Yes, he does an excellent job. You do have other folks that have come behind him and put out, somebody's got a lot of background noise, and that has put out other videos, but it is based on his work, and they do give him credit, but he is the only one that has put together this model. I'm sorry, Brother Sean, did you have something that you wanted to put in on it?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that he brought up chronos.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Chronological. Chronos is time, right?
Yes.
So basically, time is a religion.
Yes.
And we all obey it faithfully.
Yes.
And anything that's put in the chronological order, like months, years, days, weeks, all which have been named.
Yes.
So actually, we're supposed to exist outside all of that. We're eternal. We're infinite, like this plane.
That's right.
But as far as for Atlantis being sunken, no, Antarctica isn't sunken. I mean, if we upside down, then wouldn't South America be closest to it?
Yes. Yeah.
And
if compass, right?
Considering South America is much bigger than they've ever told us.
Mm-hmm.
Africa could fit inside of South America. All those people that think that Africa is the biggest thing on the block. No, it's all about here.
Yes, it is.
From South America, you could actually row right over to Antarctica.
Yes, you can. Yes, you
and
can.
That's what a land bridge used to be, the so-called land bridge. That's what's sunken. That's what's underwater. It's not sunken.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
So, I mean, it was a whole big lie about the fact that everything's separated. It still is one landmass.
Got you. It's just underwater.
Right. Ain't nothing with
that makes
nowhere.
sense. That makes sense, brother. And he'll talk about it, but you brought up a good point because the entrances into the inner part of the excuse me, family, and to get to Antarctica, or specifically to get to inner Earth, South America is one way, like you said, brother. You can get to the Arctic to South America, and Admiral Byrd even said that. And you can also get to it, again, from the Americas, of course, through Alaska. And I saw specifically in another video that he did, it wasn't in this particular series, where he talked about that he feels that to get to the actual inner Earth, although, you know, you have to be at a certain vibratory frequency to do so, you can do that through Alaska. There's a cave in Alaska that you can get to it. So all of that, again, is through the Americas. So, very good point. Very good point. Okay, so I know our time is getting from us, so we are going to go into, where are we, family? Was that part 2 or 3? Dang, I should have been keeping up.
Well, the first one was part 2.
That was part 2?
Part 2, yes.
Okay, so we're part 3. Part 3, okay, because I thought, okay, here we go. Because it's getting ready to get juicy now. Here we go. All right, come on, Dane, cooperate.
Okay. There are no torus fields in our universe in the Golden Age. Everything's connected. We are at the peak of consciousness everywhere in the universe. Yeah, it's the golden egg. Okay, all these toroidal fields expand outwards over time. It's almost like the cosmic egg is breathing in and out. The womb of creation breathes in and breathes out, breathes in and breathes out. And these toroidal fields follow that breath created by the axis mundi. Okay, so when God, okay, is breathing in, okay, Brahma, this is when the torus fields are spreading out. This is over thousands of years. And breathing in, the torus fields close again. We're now in the dark age. Out and in. At the moment, we are ascending. We're on the upward cycle. Okay? So the torus fields are expanding. This is what is causing this conscious awakening that is happening at the moment. This is why we are consciously waking up at the moment. Because we are picking up the frequencies, okay, of this toroidal field at the center, the aurora borealis, coming from the messenger, okay, the demigod Mercury, Hermes, Thoth, Buddha, at the center. Remember, everything is interlinked. They tell us, mainstream science, at the center, in the magnetosphere at the North Pole, there is an electromagnetic field that's being affected by the sun. Which sun? This sun, the black sun of intent, Rahu. This is it, at the center. So the frequencies we're picking up subconsciously that are creating this awakening that we're all talking about, the vegan movement, the flat earth movement, people just questioning government, you know, what's happening with Trump, with everything, all this craziness. People are now becoming more aware. Before, we never questioned. We just followed whatever we're told by governments. Now, we are questioning things a lot more. Why? We're getting more intelligent. We're waking up. What's waking us up? It's this energy that is growing out of Eden, out of this torus field, and heading towards the outer bits. So we're heading towards the golden age. We're now coming out of the dark age. In the dark age, all of them are closed in. As we head towards the golden age, they open up until they are assimilated into the outermost, into the egg. And there's nothing. And then everything grows back again, and we descend back into the dark ages of consciousness. Everything is closed off again, including our minds, physically and metaphysically, spiritually and mentally. Okay? So, likewise, the toroidal field around where we are, around here, is also spreading outwards. It's also opening up. Okay? So you hear NASA, they were telling us, or mainstream science, for a long time they were worried about the ozone layer opening at the North Pole, okay? Which would bring an end, which would be the end of the world, which would destroy the world, the ozone layer. Well, there's some truth in that. The ozone layer is this torus field growing out. And it will destroy the world, but not physically, metaphysically. It will destroy the paradigm. A new age will come in. That's the apocalypse they're worried about. Their paradigm, these elites that run the world, they're worried that their age of ruling over the masses will end. And it is ending because people are waking up. We're questioning now, right? We're not just following. We're now researching and thinking for ourselves, okay? Because the ozone layer is opening up, okay? This torus field is growing at the center. And we are picking up the frequencies. Well, most of us, some of us. Not everyone will. This happens really slowly. Okay, there's a process to it. It can't happen in an instant. It has to happen slowly and gradually. Some will pick this up a lot quicker than others. Some are waking up quicker than others. Some need time. Some won't wake up. Some will die asleep, and that's fine, and they'll reincarnate, and they might wake up in the next reincarnation. Okay, and likewise. So this outer field is also expanding, okay? The Van Allen belt. They're telling us that very soon they'll be able to leave the Van Allen belt. They're very excited about going to Mars. They were saying that we can't leave the Van Allen belt, but soon humans will be able to leave the Van Allen belt. Okay? And that's because the frequency is changing, A, and B, the Van Allen belt is growing outwards as well. Okay? So there'll be holes in this ozone layer as well. Right? So this is a very special time for everyone on this Bhumandala. I think the people out here, or the beings out here, they're also having their own conscious shift of some sort, right? Some of them will probably be getting ready to come in, the good ones, and the bad ones will be getting ready to go outwards. Because in is always good. You want to go in and up rather than out and down, which I'll explain in the next video. Okay? So this is what's happening. This is the conscious shift that is currently taking place. Right? We need to be picking up these frequencies, and we need to be aware of what's happening. Okay? In the Bible, by the way, it talks about the North Star. There's the story of the birth of Jesus Christ. Right? And the three kings were told that when you see the North Star in the sky, that is what you should follow. Follow the North Star. And that North Star will lead you to where Christ is, where Christ is being born. Okay? So that story is an allegory of what's happening now. Right? Our ancestors, or we, were trying to tell our future selves something, because we've already reincarnated thousands of times. So our ancestors are us. Okay? The North Star, in this case, is the messenger of God, Buddha, Hermes. Okay, when you see the North Star in the sky, follow Christ consciousness at the center. This is where Christ is being born. Right? So eventually this whole thing will be golden age, but it starts from the center. Okay? It's spreading from the center outwards. So those who are not in this frequency, are not in this journey, they will run away from this frequency. Okay? They want to go as far away from it. These elites, they want to go to Mars. They're running away from this divine frequency because they are not. It's not their soul path. It's not their journey. And I'll talk about that in the next video. Okay? Those of us who are ascending, who are on the way up on the cycle, we are picking up these frequencies and we are being drawn to there. Some are not being drawn anywhere. They're not feeling any of this. They are meant to carry on playing the game on this stage here. They've not learnt enough. They're not ready to move on either way, in or out. Right? They are meant to carry on the paradigm here, the New World Order here. Okay? The New Age. Okay? And hopefully it will be a good one. And I think it will, because we're ascending consciously. Right? Right. Next, I want to talk about reincarnation and the cycle of life. Okay? So this is now more metaphysical. Okay? I can't prove any of this. I'm not saying it's absolutely true, but this is my understanding and perspective, based on what I've researched and what I feel, my knowledge, and you know, it could be wrong. If people can correct me, that's fine. If people resonate with it, great. If you don't, that's okay too. Okay? So remember earlier on I said that we're all stars. Everything is a star, and we are all reflections of God. Every single one of us. Everything that is conscious is a fragment of the whole. The whole being Brahma at the top, okay? God. So we are drops in the ocean of consciousness, okay? So in the beginning was the Holy Trinity at the top, okay? And they birthed many, many souls, including you and me right now, okay? We are souls birthed out of the whole, out of God. It tells us in the Bible, God breathed air into Adam, right? So that air is consciousness, okay? That is what consciousness is. The Holy Spirit. That is what we are. We are Holy Spirits. Everything is a star. All is a two. All is a moon, as Santos always says. So, this is where we were. Remember, we're talking about the different realms, the 14 different realms that the Vedics talk about, okay? And this is where the cycle of life happens, and this is how the cycle of life happens. So first, you're one with the whole. You are there born or created as a soul, individual soul. You then become a fallen angel. So you experience independentness for the first time in this top realm, which is, let me get this correct, okay? Which is the Tapaloka in Vedic cosmology. This is where you experience your first life as a single soul, as an individual soul, right? You then go into the Yanaloka, right? You become a fallen angel again, right? You then go into the Mahaloka, you're a fallen angel again. And all this time, you're falling in consciousness as well, okay? So the further you are from source, the further down your consciousness is falling, okay? Right? And up here, you're still in the heavens. You're still an angel, but you're becoming a fallen angel, like it says in the Bible. Okay? Once you leave the Mahaloka, the stars, once you leave the skies, you're no longer an angel now. You're now in time. This is where time comes in. Chronos, Saturn, Father Time, Sane Suru, Father Time. This is the first place you incarnate into. You incarnate into the planet Saturn. You then become a demigod, right? As the Greeks put it, right? You're now influencing, yeah? You're now a director, of the Titans. We are the Titans on Earth, okay? So you do your time in there. You then reincarnate down to the next sun, which is Mars, okay? You're now influencing the beings on those lands where Mars is. And then you incarnate into the next one, which is our sun, Apollo. You're influencing the beings where we are. So right now in the sun, there are beings that are influencing us. So you hear this movement about people saying, I'm sun gazing. Okay, I look up in the sun and I sun gaze and I meditate and whatever. That's because you're communicating with the beings right now, the soul in the sun, subconsciously. That is what prayer is. That is what meditation is. You are trying to connect with souls in all these other realms, mainly in the sun. Okay? From the sun, your next incarnation is into Buddha, Hemrod, into Mercury. Okay? You're now a messenger. Okay? You're getting ready to deliver the message from the demigods to the Titans. Okay? At this point, you're now maybe at 65% consciousness. Okay? You're now ready to descend into the physical. Right? And once you're in the physical, this is when you forget now. This is where we will now have the amnesia. Because now you're on the stage of creation. You're now truly an actor, acting out the directives and the ages and everything else. You're now experiencing your own simulation, as well as the collective one of wherever you are. So your first incarnation is into Shambhala, Eden. This is where you first become a fallen angel. You do your time in there, right? And after a while, you either reincarnate or sometimes physically, depending on the ages, but mostly you reincarnate into where we are, okay? And you now become a human being like we are now, okay? So these elites that are ruling us, these are fallen angels, and I think some of them are also beings from the underworld that are influencing us at the moment in the dark age for now. So these fallen angels, some of these elites that are ruling us, okay, this is why they've been a lot more intelligent than most of us for a while, okay, because they're fallen angels. They're coming from the center going outwards, okay, right? And we are going the other way, but the scales are balancing, right? We're getting to a stage where we're going to be balancing the scales very soon. Well, we are already. We're catching up. They are falling in consciousness. We are rising in consciousness, the rest of us, most of us, the good ones. Okay? So once you've done your time here, you reincarnate many times through the moon. Okay? The moons are processing centers or reincarnation realms where when your soul dies, you go into the moons, you assess yourself. No one judges you. You're not judged by anyone. You assess yourself and you come back and you work out your karma or whatever you need to work out. Because remember, the meaning of life is birth, experience, growth, and move on. So if you haven't learned enough and you haven't grown enough, you must come back down and play again. Work out your karma and learn as much as you can before you can move on to the next stage. Okay? These beings, because they're fallen angels, okay, they automatically will be drawn to the world outside. Okay? Because they're going outwards and downwards. This is why these elites, right, the governments, they're obsessed with going to Mars, the outer lands. They're going outwards. Okay? They're on their way out and down. Right? Right? These worlds are not necessarily hellish, as in hell. I don't think so. But I think they are disconnected from nature and from source. There's a difference between intelligence and intellect. So there might be a lot of intellect out here, technology, cities with amazing technology out here, but not so much knowledge, gnosis, okay? They're disconnected from nature and from things of transcendental things, spiritual things. Everything out here is very artificial, which is what you're seeing at the moment. They're preparing us. everything is becoming very artificial. Robots, food, money, everything is becoming more and more artificial. Okay, there's this big AI movement happening at the moment. So the beings on the way down are attracted to these things, these artificial things. Okay? I'm not saying it's evil. I'm just saying that is your soul path or their soul path. And then after that, your next stage will be the outer lands. Okay? Muspelem, the fire giants, whatever that means according to the Norse. After that, 40%, you're now in inner earth. You're now a reptilian, so to speak, inside the first part of the Bhumandala. Okay? I think the underside of the Bhumandala, I don't think this is a physical place you can go. This is where you reincarnate as a spirit again. You're now a spirit. You don't have a physical body, but you're a dark spirit now. Okay? Now you're a devil. You're a Shiva. You're a destroyer. Up here, you're a creator. Down here, you're a destroyer. So you're trying to gravitate people, right? You're influencing people up here as well, subconsciously, right? When they say that the devil has influenced you, these are the beings, the beings out in these worlds down here, trying to subconsciously influence you. All your bad thoughts, all your negative thoughts are coming from the frequencies from these beings under here. You then get to 30%, 25%, 20%, 15%, 10%. You know, there's hardly any light left in you. Okay? You're now truly, a fallen angel in the truest sense of the word. Okay? But then you work your way back up again. Once you're down here, right, the cycle of life, you can't be here forever. You've got to come back up again. But this is all happening over millions or thousands of years or whatever. Okay? You then come back up again, 15, you're ascending. You're now becoming a shooting star. You're shooting back upwards. Okay? You go through all the different rounds again, the reverse. You're here, then you're here, and then you incarnate where we are. Okay? And then you get to the center. So those of us who are being drawn to goodness, to love, to truth, right? Those of us who are trying to change things for the better, okay? We are shooting stars. We are ascending, right, on the cycle of life. We're on our way up. And we're meeting in the middle with those descending. So you've got the good guys and the bad guys. And this is necessary for the cycle of life. This is duality. This is polarity. Good and bad. It has to happen. Fallen angels and shooting stars. Okay? Now remember, I put the suns on this side and the moons on this side. I did that deliberately. Okay? Except for that one. That one is a sun and the moon. Okay? So when you're ascending, when you're way out, the moons, the mothers, are portals out. The suns are gateways in. So those descending come through the sun. Those ascending go through the moon. Okay? Males inseminate. Females give birth. Okay? You can see this looks like a brain, the cosmic egg, with the center right. You've got the left-hand path, male principles, right-hand path, female principles. Okay? This is where all that esoteric stuff comes in. For those who are not afraid to research that and to try and understand it. Okay? So this is where you come out from the moon side. So you incarnate here, or you, in this case, we're going through a very special time. We can actually physically walk into the Garden of Eden. Okay? But we have to pick up these frequencies for those who want to make the pilgrimage. Not everyone will want to do this or can do this, but those who are ready to ascend, those who have learned everything they need to learn, right? At the center, here where we are, there are those who are ready to move on to the next stage of life. Some need to incarnate, like I was saying, a few more times before they can move on. Okay? Others are ready to move on to the garden, to the center, to the next stage. I've done my time here. I feel like I need to move on. Okay? I need something new. I need a new experience. So this is where veganism comes in, or vegetarianism. This is where truth, love, and all those things come in, the garden. Disconnecting from artificial, trying to connect with nature, sun gazing, loving animals and nature and all that. You're preparing yourself for the garden. You have to prepare yourself. Because if you don't, you cannot be able to withstand the frequencies here, because the frequencies in this dimension are much, much, much higher. Okay? So if you want to make the physical pilgrimage here, you need to be prepared. Okay? Because if you don't, you will just get, your body and your soul will not, you get zapped and you'll just reincarnate back here again, back to square one. You'll die on your way there. Okay? Because the Vernalen belt, the frequencies there, you will not be able to withstand them. So those of us, you hear me talking a lot about this pilgrimage to the North Pole. Follow the North Star when the time is right. I'm going to make a little prediction. I know they say you should never put dates or make prophecies, but I am. I'm going to say Vision 2020.
Okay, family. So just to kind of give a little bit more explanation, since you don't have the privilege of seeing the actual visual to what he was explaining. When he was explaining the fallen angels and the concept of reincarnation, what he was saying, those ether realms that we talked about. So remember, we talked about the magnetic axial pole, and the point of that is the Polaris star, which rotates the cosmos. Okay, so above the cosmos is where you have the ether realms. That represents the seven heavens. Okay, so that is the process of where the source is. That you cannot be in the physical state when you go to those particular realms. It is pure consciousness. It is the source. So as he is explaining the concept of reincarnation and the fallen angels, what he is saying is, as you are in the seventh heavens as an angel, so meaning pure consciousness, you literally keep falling through the heavens to all the way down till you get to the physical point. So that is where the concept of fallen angels come from, because you literally go from the higher realm of consciousness to the source, and you slash being an angel, if you want to put it in biblical terms, and as you are reincarnating back into the physical, you fall down each one of those realms, and you are going through different level of consciousness. And then when you get to the point where you are hitting the physical realm, okay, so the physical realm is representing beyond the cosmos, okay, so once you hit the physical realm, that's when you get to the stage of not remembering, because you're in the physical. That's when the physical birth happens. When he explained the other part of reincarnation, when you're falling, that's when you go down to the underworld realms, okay, and you hear Bobby Hemmett and Brother Panic talk about those underworld realms. So you experience those particular levels of consciousness, and depending on who you are as a being, now this is me throwing this in here, you draw energy from that level as well. That's a very powerful level as well. That's what the whole thing of the Book of the Dead was about, okay? So you go through the underworld, and then you cycle back up to the ethers to become that angel again. And depending on your karmic debt that you have created in that physical realm will determine, are you going to stay in the ethers, or do you have to cycle back down to continue on, meaning the incarnation cycle. So as he was alluding to, what is so special about this moment that we are in now, hence the topic of this show, changes here now, is because the cosmic egg, or that vortex, is opening back up. So that is expanding consciousness. in us as Momma Earth is expanding or breathing out. Okay, so the beings that are, or meaning us, that are in tune.
Sis.
Where'd she go?
I don't know. Maybe she dropped.
I have an electrical outage because I have thunder here. And lightning. You dropped mid-sentence.
Right. Let me see if I can reach her. Well, what's your take on what she was saying?
Well, I don't really buy it because that takes away from the diversity of creation and puts everybody on an equal plane. And I don't think that's truth. Because as a melanated person, we're not equal to a person that was created with the zebrafish or the one that was mixed with the whatevers that they mixed humankind with. And there is a diversity. There's, you know what I mean, I'm not equal with the Neanderthal or somebody who has rhesus positive, RH positive. So we supposed to be gods or children of the Most High. And so that separates us from humanity. We're man and not human. So I find that everybody wants to, steal some of the thunder and get the same things what we're getting, or the same gifts we're going to get in the end, or the same, end times that we're going to get. We're all going to cycle through, no matter how wicked. And now I know karma. That's there. That's there. I understand the karma part she was saying, but this just puts us too much on equal footings to me. And we all just jump from dimension to dimension and not pay for the fact that we came here. It's like the Planet of the Apes, 1968, where he says, "Beware of the beast man."
Sis,
the beast man.
Sis, I have to interrupt you right quick, sis. Elro got kicked out. She said she can't get back in, so she's going to have to end the call. We'll conclude this next week.
All righty. Well.
But I mean, you could keep going. I mean, I was just letting you know. So if you get cut off mid sentence,
Yeah, because they said beware of the beast man in the Planet of the Apes, 1968, and they were created, and they have some scroll 29, where they were created to kill, steal, and to what is the word, lie or cheat or something. I forget the last one right now because my mind is on this creation stuff. She's talking about these different dimensions. So if that person was meant to be that way, we can't be equal. And these movies be telling what these people really are created for.